Hey, Mikey.
It's Michael Brown.
You can try to find Michael Brown.
Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job.
This is the Michael Brown Show.
Hold on tight to your dream. Yeah. Hold on tight.
I'm already, we haven't even started the segment. I'm already in trouble.
It's a new record even for you.
It is a record for me. I had something very poignant to say to you.
Really?
Yes, and now...
Emotional, poignant, crazy? I mean, give me some some
intellectually poignant.
Wow.
Okay, we were joking before the segment started about the segment, your mother...
Designated survivor.
I don't know. I don't know.
Great radio.
It is.
You tease something and then nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
3, 2, 1. Oh, never mind.
Never mind.
It'll come to you. It'll rally back in your brain.
It will. Probably about Sunday afternoon.
I will say that
yes.
My mother-in-law listened to the show last weekend.
And how did that go?
She was kind of quiet, so I didn't hear much, but I think she liked it. She's of the same political persuasion.
Oh, so she's different than the daughter.
Very different.
Very different.
Yeah, that whole family is a whole 50 shades of religion and politics, and
so
they've got it all covered.
So mother-in-law may have actually liked the segment.
I think she did,
but couldn't say anything because
not in front of the daughter.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. I've been on
you
relevant
really do
radio.
live a James Carville, Mary Matlin life, don't you?
But less exciting.
But less exciting, and yeah.
Oh, we've had our moments.
Can we Facebook Live those sometime?
Please don't.
Could she come in and I could start a fight and just walk out?
That would be great.
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh, yeah. I look forward to that.
I'm really good at that. I'm really good at just starting a fight and then kind of walking away.
Angie might have to come in and just separate us. My wife's tough. I don't want to mix it up.
There's no question in my mind that she's tough. That's why I'd like to watch the fight. I'd like to watch the fight. Well, anyway, you came roaring in here this evening.
I did.
With like red meat. You're just like frothing.
It's a red meat week.
I don't know why.
It really is.
I don't know why.
The news cycle is crazier than ever. The media is crazier than ever. Celebrities are much crazier than ever. So what's not to talk about?
I think it was maybe Wednesday of this week. I think I have bipolar disorder.
I heard that. You're breaking down on air. You were having your network moment.
Yes, I was exactly. Because sometimes when you listen to all this crap, don't you just want to think? Don't you just think to yourself, okay, you know what? You guys won.
I'm out.
I give up.
You tap out.
Yeah, I'm tapped out. I can't argue it anymore. It's just pure unadulterated dumbassery. Have at it. Just run the country into the toilet. You know what?
And yet the next moment, I think you're the same way. You feel so energized by the dumbassery that you think, oh, our side is winning, or
right.
It's so easy to smite the left.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a swing factor, man. It just go back and forth,
back and forth. Now, I talked about this on Thursday, but you heard the whole thing about Trump apparently referred to everybody that comes here either legally or illegally as animals. You heard that one, right?
Yeah. It's the fakest fake news in the last 2 years. I mean, it's insane.
The AP deleted its tweet.
Oh, did the AP tweet that?
Yes.
I saw some pretty significant news coverage from august sources, like the New York Times.
Oh, August.
Just going all in.
Yeah, AP deleted
Celebrities all in.
Yep.
How many tweets has AP deleted in the last few weeks? There's been multiple.
I don't know. Actually, that'd be a good thing for Twitchy to be following.
Yeah.
The number of...
Let's do a tally.
Yeah, the tally of deleted tweets.
Yeah.
I think probably over my lifetime of Twitter, I think I've deleted maybe 3.
You know what I did yesterday? I blocked someone. I think I've never done before.
So I have a guy that I follow on Twitter that is... Do you understand? First, let me ask you this question. Mm-hmm. Do you understand the people that are on Twitter all the time?
I think it's me. I'm so bad. Actually, I'm trying to draw back a little bit right now. But yeah, there are people when I mention something, they always respond. Like people I like.
Right.
It's just like, ooh, you're always there.
Well, I'll give you an example. Your buddy Nick Nolte.
Okay.
John Nolte. Nick Nolte.
Nick's brother.
That's right. Yeah. John Nolte. John lives on Twitter.
Mostly. He goes off a little. I think his wife has been under the weather for the last few years, and I feel like he will take direct sabbaticals, like sort of self-imposed sabbaticals. But generally, you're right, though. He's on fire and on Twitter.
Oh, I go in, I peek. It's kind of like, you kind of like a peeping Tom. I kind of
right.
look and then like, oh no, it's still the same. Close the window and go on.
John's still John.
Yeah, I'll like one of your tweets or I'll retweet one of yours. There's probably on my must-read list. There's probably a dozen people that rather than me having to think about that or compose the tweet,
Ding.
yeah, retweet.
That's right. Did you think about that poignant moment yet?
No.
I'm going to keep asking you.
No. You came in here loaded for bear
Yes.
about the move by the Guatemalan embassy to Jerusalem. You knew about that, right?
Guatemalan
Yes.
embassy?
Guatemala.
No, I don't think I was aware of that one.
Yeah, Guatemala moved its embassy to Jerusalem the day after we did. It was all in the news. I mean, I think everybody covered it. Not.
Did it involve Stormy Daniels? Is that the name of Stormy Daniels' title?
Well, Stormy was there for the ribbon cutting, I think. that was the only way they were able to get coverage of the Guatemalan embassy. But I swear to God, it's the truth.
Yeah.
The
It's a
Guatemalan
revealing
embassy
decolletage.
moved the day after we did. Nothing.
There should be an entire news service dedicated to the real news that gets ignored every week.
Yeah.
And they'd be full.
Right.
I mean, they'd be like, we can't get to it all. We can't cover it all.
Right. In fact, all these fired reporters from newspapers, there's a job for
That's
them
right.
right there.
Like the Denver Post. Ouch.
Oh. Anyway, so you're all wound up. You got a story about liberal celebrities demand justice for Hamas-backed rioters.
Yeah, liberal celebrities are funny because, and not ha-ha funny. When when there's a school shooting, when there's any kind of shooting, which is obviously tragic, they will pounce and they will get their talking points out and they will, NRA is a terrorist organization. We need more gun control before any single fact has been laid out. None. People are hurt. Jump on it. And they're doing the same thing this week with the situation in Gaza. And of course, as the days and hours, or the hours and days went on, we found out, there's a lot of Hamas people in that group. And gee, they weren't just burning tires. They were doing some other pretty nasty stuff, some vicious stuff.
Yeah.
In line with what
Right.
Hamas often does
Yes.
and their ideology often.
Hamas is actually
promotes.
a designated terrorist organization.
Not the celebrities.
So the membership is comprised of terrorists.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some of which are nice people.
Apparently so. Others of which I might refer to as animals.
So celebrities have been on fire all week, just sharing, Bette Midler was right on it, saying there's, 50-something people died. How dare you? It's all Trump's fault. Blaming Ivanka Trump because she was there
Oh,
at
yeah,
the
they called
embassy
her
opening.
Javanka, like isn't Juvanka?
The Daily News in New York, a paper I used to read all the time, which is just descended beyond belief, called her a ghoul.
Yeah,
a
that's
ghoul.
right.
That's just so... It's disgusting.
See,
and these same outlets are outraged when Trump gets naughty or nasty or gross or whatever. They're right in it, man. They've been doing it for years too.
And yet you wonder why earlier this week I was in my bipolar mood of just like, okay, one segment I'm just in the toilet, and the next segment I'm on fire.
I don't blame you.
It's just,
I mean, we know you need meds, but I mean,
well, of course. But
we just didn't know the specific situation.
Yeah, but we've all known that for
That's
decades.
right.
50, I think, of the 58 that were shot, killed, or whatever, were actually known terrorists.
Yeah.
Now, there was an 8-month-old or 8-year-old boy that was killed. But you know what? If you take your child,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to justify, it's sad that the child
absolutely.
was killed. But if you're going to take your child into the line of fire, there is a 50-50 chance that the child's going to get shot.
We're rushing the border today, sweetheart. Do you want to come? I mean, that's absurd. That's so maniacal.
Actually, it's even worse than that. Honey, we're rushing the fence today. I need you in front of me.
Yeah. Can you hold my Molotov cocktail?
Yes, that's what they really do. That's the disgusting part.
And that's what's fascinating about the age of Trump has led to this exposure of people in so many ways. Like Jennifer Rubin from the Washington Post.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a clown. I'm sorry. I used to really like her work, but if you read her opinions, they have changed 180 degrees because now if it's pro-Trump, she has to be against it. And it's all with celebrities too. We thought they were nice and kind and decent and liberal and open-minded. A lot of them are just flat out nasty and wrong.
And wrong.
Very wrong.
Very, very wrong. All right. I'll take the medication. I'll try to figure out what it was I wanted to talk to you about, which I'll never remember, and then we'll be back, and I'll just keep talking through the end of this segment like this, and we'll...
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. You can can stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down.
Welcome back to Hollywood and Toto on the Michael Brown Show. Hollywood and Toto's in the studio, otherwise known as Christian Toto. Go to his website, hollywoodandtoto.com. Follow him on Twitter at Hollywood and Toto. Call his cell phone number, which is, hang on one second, I'll get the number here.
Here comes the hate.
Here comes the hate.
Put your phone down.
What would you do? Why would you go change your phone number?
I'd go right to T-Mobile. You know that Michael Brown guy? Well,
Oh yeah.
I've got a story for
That's
you.
right. Well, we got a free phone for you.
No charge, Mr.
That's
Toto.
right, no charge.
We understand.
All right, one of my favorite television programs of all times that I have not watched since. I don't think I even got to the second season.
You bailed that quickly.
Well, I think I bailed. It was really good, but when they turned anti-gun,
Okay.
which I think was still in the first season.
Might have been. I think they've been a couple episodes where they've been actively involved in those talking points.
Yes.
And we're talking about
I don't know because I don't watch it. What is it?
Designated Survivor.
Oh, what happened?
Kiefer.
Kiefer. What happened?
Kiefer Sutherland.
What happened to Jack Bauer?
The axe has fallen.
Oh,
Canceled
really?
after
Oh.
2 seasons.
Huh.
And the ratings were surprisingly terrible.
Really?
Yeah, go figure, right?
Huh.
Now, this time of year, there was a lot of shows canceled, and often for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it's maybe just the creativity has gone out, the ratings are bad, the production costs are too high. It's a complicated sequence of events when a show is canceled. But this one had some things in its favor, but the ratings were so low that they couldn't sustain it.
I found the story you sent me, I found interesting because it says the lead actor, whom I assume they're referring to Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
Okay. The lead actor had been, quote, frustrated by the creative twists and turns that the series took. As a result, the show, quote, zigzagged from being a political thriller, which at the beginning it truly was,
Yep.
to a more earnest look at the struggles of Sutherland's Tom Kirkman and his family amid the fishbowl of living in the White House. Boy, somebody there's just lying through their teeth.
Yeah. And also, what the story said, which is interesting, is that the show has had multiple showrunners. That's kind of the guy or the gal who really kind of oversees the show, the direction, what's going on.
Oh, really?
It's like sort of the puppet master in a sense.
Okay.
And this is kind of a more modern term. I guess they've always been there, but I don't remember showrunners being like cool, hip jobs in Hollywood. It's in more recent years we've had like David Chase with The Sopranos.
Okay. So if you had to give me the elevator pitch of what a showrunner is.
I think it's the driving force behind the show. I think it's kind of the person who kind of oversees the landscape.
On behalf of the studio or the...
I would think so,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, it's their baby. Like David Chase with The Sopranos, that was his baby.
Okay.
He might direct some episodes, he might write some episodes, but I think it's his vision.
Okay.
I forget the person who did Breaking Bad is also doing Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
Gilligan? No, it's something like
Gilligan?
I'll look it up in a second.
I think it's Gilligan, isn't it?
Might be.
Something
I'm
Gilligan.
having a brain flatulence on that
so
one.
I'm not the only one.
That's right.
Oh, huh.
I don't forget important things like poignant moments, though. I just forget a name once in a
I
while.
just like to say the word poignant.
Right.
Poignant.
Anyway, so, the show had some issues, but it's a rating. Listen, the ratings were good. They'll battle through those issues. The ratings are ratings. That's where they get their cash. But I think, it's funny. Recently, I put on my Facebook page, my business Facebook page for my site, I said, what are some shows that have chased you away as viewers? Thinking about sort of the politics of today's shows, and multiple people mentioned Designated Survivor.
Oh,
as one of them.
seriously?
Yeah. So, like you, go specific. What was it about the show that was chasing you away?
Well, it drew me in because it was a show about something that I was actually literally, not figuratively, but literally involved in, and that's called the KHOW and KHOW programs, continuity of operations and continuity of government. And those are FEMA-run kind of black op programs that if the government's decapitated by a terrorist event or natural disaster or something else, how do you make sure that the government continues to function? And so,
Which is fascinating, by the way.
And there truly is a designated survivor. Every day, I can't say too much about it, but we know obviously we know where the president is at all times. We know where the vice president is at all times. But then whoever is the designated survivor, say, for that week or that period or whatever, we have a way of knowing where they are every single moment of their day.
Interesting.
Wherever they are. so that if we have to pluck them out of somewhere, like say they're in Timbuktu.
They're at McDonald's.
They're at McDonald's in Paris. They're at McDonald's in Douglas County, and suddenly the president, the vice president, and the speaker of the House have been assassinated. We can pluck them from wherever they are, take them to an undisclosed location, and resume the functions of the government. So this is what Designated Survivor was about. So it drew me in, and we were watching it almost like West Wing. I mean, we were like, oh my God, so that's true, that's not true. Well, they kind of we were into this show. And 3 or 4, maybe I've conflated the time, but a short period into it, it suddenly went from a terrorist event, Designated Survivor, and how all of the trials and tribulations of, I mean, imagine you are the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, and suddenly, within a split second, you became the President of the United States. Now you got to figure out who's loyal to you, who's not loyal to you. You got to rebuild a cabinet. You got to do everything. And it went from that to literally the most anti-Second Amendment story that I was sick of it. But when Tamara turns to me and says, I can't take this anymore, I'm like, I was there last week.
Yeah, I'm with you already.
Yeah, I'm already there.
What's interesting is that the first part you described seems like it could power a couple of seasons at least. This is a brand new show.
Right, easily.
There's lots of different properties and conflicts and issues. And then maybe later on you get into some more hot button issues. But I think it's the fact that I don't think it would have chased you away if it just brought up gun legislation, the sort of the yin and yang.
No.
But it sounds like what they did was it was very clear there was an agenda there. There was a lecture embedded in the story, whereas maybe both sides don't get a fair hearing. Is that part of what you saw?
Christian, the characters. I forget who Keith Sutherland's wife was, but the two main characters, Mrs. Kiefer, specifically talked about, we've got to get rid of the guns. We need gun control. We need to do this. We need to do we've got to, that crazy governor over there, we've got to go usurp that governor and put him in jail. I mean, this is how.
What was he doing wrong, the governor?
He was exercising his rights as a governor under our concept of federalism to choose to, I think he had closed his borders or something, and wasn't allowing people in. He had his National Guard making sure that, certain people weren't coming in because, again, the country was torn apart. And so each state, if this was a natural disaster or whatever, every state at that point has to really control, okay, we can't take everybody from everywhere. We've got to have some sort of controls to make sure that we survive as a state.
So not only did he control the borders, but they made him the villain because he was doing that. And
he was doing his job.
Yeah.
And they made him out to be this evil conservative that, refused to follow the president's orders and stuff.
It sounds very poignant. Nothing? No?
Yeah,
didn't work?
There's nothing. I need some more.
Next week.
Yeah, next week. You'll come. No, I'll call you. I'll call you tonight. I want to talk, but I like this song.
I love this song.
I know.
One of my favorite Dwight Yoakam songs.
Yes. I like to see Dwight Yoakam.
I saw him last year at Botanic Gardens. Great show.
Really?
I love the Botanic Gardens, particularly the one in, because it's sort of not downtown Denver, sort of near.
Yeah, over there. Yeah,
like Congress Park is right
nearby? Right.
What a venue. If you get like a beautiful summer night in Denver with an artist you like at that place, wow. It's perfect.
Oh, well, you convinced me to go try it sometime.
Yeah, it's really good. I don't know what their lineup is this year. I haven't checked, but.
Well, why don't you do that and get back to me? but
we'll have our wives.
Michael Brown list of things to do.
It's so long.
I know. Quickly. So, I think one point we haven't kicked around enough. We haven't beat the dead horse enough on Designated Survivor. Is the cancellation? So it's been canceled.
It is, and there's actually talk it might get picked up by another channel of some kind. I don't know if that's happening now or could happen, but it's not within the realm. It's not, it's certainly possible. We just saw Brooklyn Nine-Nine, a Fox comedy. Within a day, NBC swooped in and picked it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it does happen. And I think the Mindy Project happened to that. Longmire went from, I think it was AMC to Netflix.
Yeah,
and they had the
Longmire
last
was
two
great.
seasons. Yeah,
that
great
was
show.
really good.
So yeah, it could live again, but it's certainly diminished at this point.
It's diminished, and I think if they went back to the whole designated survivor
Yeah.
title and stuck with that theme, they probably could get squeezed 2, maybe 3 seasons out of it.
But are you already gone, or would you give it a second chance, or would you need some proof that it would?
I'd probably wait and see. I'd probably wait to see what you, because
That's right.
You'd probably go watch it, and then
Me and Newsbusters.
right, you and Newsbusters would let me know whether or not I could peek behind the curtain and see what was going on.
Yeah.
I would, if it was about the government being decapitated and trying to rebuild the United States government, I'd watch that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah. But if you're going to do the anti-gun stuff, no, I'm not going to watch it at all.
Has any other show or movie had a similar theme to it? It doesn't ring a bell. There could be something out
I'm
there.
telling you, Christian, nothing. You didn't watch it, did you?
No, I know. I don't have time to watch a lot of TV.
I know. This was probably, like, I can live with kind of an anti-gun theme. I get the agenda. I get what they're trying to push. I get the subliminal messages. This was nothing like that. This was in your face. We hate guns. We're going to go implement gun control because we're the new president and we want to show this because the country's falling apart.
Yep.
And what makes more sense when the country's in total anarchy than to take away people's
That's
guns?
right.
Right?
What could go wrong?
Okay, right. What could go wrong with that? Click, I'm done.
By the way, I would bet money, if I had any money, that Everytown for Gun Safety, which has a division where they help
Right.
screenwriters tinker with the message, I bet you they had a hand in that production.
So I guess my question is, going back to the Newsbuster story, and they were referencing Variety. Do you think it was the ratings?
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, there's sort of the imbalance behind the scenes, the different showrunners, that can be fixed. There's a lot of things you can do to kind of, fix a show, get it back on track, hire new people. I think you've got a show that's already had 2 seasons. It's got its legs, for better or worse. It's not like entering season 1 where there's a lot of turmoil behind the scenes. So I think ratings were it. There were some other, I forget the specific factors, but there were other factors that were in the show's favor. Kiefer Sutherland is a very likable guy. As far as we know him from 24. He's an established TV star.
Who's made millions of dollars whispering his lines.
We don't have time.
We always whisper. That's encouraging to me because that means that the great masses of the American public has decided, we're not going to waste our time.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's not always the case. It certainly could be the case.
Oh, come on. Give me some, can you just...
Well, I look at some like the big screen comedies that are very woke, and often they fail, but not everyone fails completely. Some of them do modestly well. But I think generally speaking, if you chase audiences away, unless you're like a niche product, I think it's not good for the overall ratings, the overall audience.
Right. By the way, Maxine Waters told Texas Southern University law students that were graduating this past weekend to be sure and stay woke.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
Because what the country needs are more lawyers.
You are crazy about Maxine Waters.
I love Maxine.
You
and you know what? And even that article said that the young people, because that's what I am, love to call her Annie Maxine. So, she's my sweetheart.
The future of the Democratic Party.
Maxine Waters.
Bring it.
So anything else canceled? Anything else?
Yeah, a lot of shows were canceled. There's often...
Has this one been canceled? Hello?
5, 4, 3. So I wrote a story for my site that looked at, it seems like today, as opposed to years and years ago, usually when a show is canceled, like, oh, that stinks. Oh, I like that show. Oh, I'll miss that show. And that's it. You kind of move on. Now we have this sort of almost organic connection to these shows where if a show is canceled, it's outrageous. And you rush to Twitter, you go on different websites, you fill out petitions. There's actually multiple petitions at change.org saying, please save the show for The Expanse, for Lucifer. And so I want to kind of examine, like, what happened? Why are we like this? And I want to throw a couple ideas your way. One is I think the fact that a lot of these shows have continuing narratives. It's not like the show has solved its problems in 60 minutes. Remember The Love Boat?
Yeah.
They had like 3 or 4 relationship issues. By the end, all fine and dandy.
Yeah.
And even like a Hill Street Blues, they didn't have like these ongoing shows usually. It was more like a contained narrative. Now it's like season 1, there's the story. This guy's in trouble. He's in jail. Season 2, he's out of jail. Season 3, he's married. Now season 4, his wife, puts him, convicts him of a crime.
And if you go back
all
to
these
season 1,
stories.
it's like, what was what was the connection?
But if you follow a show for 2-3 seasons, you're in.
Yeah.
You're emotionally invested in these characters, and the characters have evolved and grown. You've gotten to know them, and I think it's hard for people to kind of just shut that down. I think that's one reason why. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, but I think that's one of them. Like we have more of an emotional tie to this storyline.
We do, and I'm going to say something that, because I know that Tamara and I get invested in shows, and then we really want to. I mean, we're disappointed when it's like, oh, that was the season finale. Well, crapola, what are we going to do now? But we also, some shows that, like some of the shows that we really like, Billions and Homeland are the two, because those are most fresh in my mind right now, went so far off the rails that it's almost like a grieving curve where we start, Billions kind of gets more and more absurd, then it's like surreal, and then it's just like so bizarre. But then we reach this tipping point where it's so bizarre, we're like, yeah, let's watch it. Let's watch the next one.
You're
see,
in.
yeah, because how can it get any worse than it is now? And we watch it, and we finish the episode, and we both say to each other, these people are sick. Okay, let's see what they do next week.
Was that bad, or is it just too melodramatic, or is that just the show is the way it is?
No, it's just that they've actually developed the characters to be very unlikable characters. And so there are people that you just don't like, but for whatever, I mean, it's not like you go out to dinner with them or anything, but you tend to kind of keep up with them.
Yeah, you kind of you check them out on Facebook, see what they're up to.
Yeah,
you kind of like disliking them.
Yeah. So that's kind of, we feel kind of badly about it because we know it's just, first of all, it's TV, it's drama, it's not real. But we find ourselves liking the fact that we feel superior to these billionaires that have all this money and all these problems.
And they're not happy.
And they're not happy. Yeah. And here we are. How much money's in the checkbook? Can we actually, can we go to McDonald's this weekend? Well, no, but you know what? At least we're happy.
We're not that dude.
We're not those people.
Yeah. Another reason I think we're so just shaken up by these shows getting canceled is as consumers right now, we have so much inner control. We watch shows, we tape shows, we watch them on our TVs, we watch them on our laptops, we watch them on our smartphones. We control when we watch them. We can binge a whole season.
Right.
So we have all this control over stuff we love. And then it's oh, no, you don't get to watch it anymore. It's done.
Yeah, wait, no.
And they didn't consult me.
Yeah, wait a minute.
And I think that's part of it too. I think we've become so, our ability to control stuff is interesting.
That's the poignant thing I wanted to ask.
Oh, stop it.
No, but that's a brilliant observation.
Well, I'm due for one.
Yeah, well, Angie, can we just find another person to come in for the last segment because he's blown it for the rest. But I think you're absolutely right.
Could be.
Could be. Come on, you are. And we could just let this play for this because this is one of my favorites too.
Good stuff.
Speaking of our last segment and the cancellations and the like, we're in control and then all of a sudden the control is taken away from us. You've got that story over on your website at hollywoodandtoto.com, and the title of it is 7 Reasons You Won't Accept Your Favorite Show's Cancellation. So I'd encourage people to go read it and comment, share it.
Yeah, because I mean, I bet you listeners have other examples or other reasons why we don't take it lying down anymore. It's weird. It's just, it gets emotional.
So shameless plug for the website, hollywoodandtoto.com. 7 Reasons You Won't Accept Your Favorite Show's Cancellation.
It's the best kind of plug. Shameless one.
Shameless, right. Aren't plugs inherently shameless?
I think they are by their nature.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, all right.
I think if you do a tasteful plug, it's just not working.
Speaking of plugs.
Yes.
Not Joe Biden plugs. But, well, that's an old reference.
Take y'all back in chains.
Man. Did you come in with a view clip tonight?
What?
Have you?
Okay.
You know,
for those who aren't watching on the Facebook, my head is hanging in shade.
There's a demerit coming. I don't know the check will clear because we're in Chapter 11 anyway. So I don't know if the check will clear or not anyway. But I don't know. No view clip, and
I did look, and nothing kind of jumped out at me. I mean, I've come to this. I need like a really juice. I mean, we've had so many good view clips in the last 2 months. I can't just bring an ordinary quasi-dumb. What?
Angie has a different theory.
Oh.
That you don't, because I asked, and she said no, he doesn't. and she agrees with my theory.
Which is?
You're actually avoiding the View because you're actually seriously afraid that I am going to end up getting us tickets to the View, and then you're screwed. You got to go.
I am screwed. It is inevitable, though. I've come to accept that.
Have you come to accept it? Okay.
I know I'm going to die. I know that I'll get old someday,
Right.
hopefully, and I know that I'm headed to New York at some point.
Okay. All right, then we can move on to the next subject.
can.
Okay.
Roseanne Barr back in the news. This was an interesting story.
I
Obviously,
found it fascinating.
she comes back. The show gets huge ratings.
Yep.
But you know what's happened since then?
Oh, she's been told to dial it back.
Yeah, but not only that, there's that too. We'll get to that in a second. The ratings have kind of fallen back to earth a bit. I mean, listen, you can't have, she had like 18 million the first week. That's just not going to happen again.
Peak curiosity.
I think it's something more than that.
Oh, really?
Well, my theory is that when the show was announced and it was just about to air, there was this whole sense that, hey, she likes Trump, and this show is going to give Trump fans a fair shake, which is nowhere on the TV dial is that happening.
Nowhere. No.
So I think there was a lot of interest in it. But I think as the show has gone on, it's gotten less political, more like Roseanne the show.
Right, yeah. Just
and there's
Roseanne.
nothing really wrong with that.
Right.
And actually, I think in many ways it's good. But I think that hurt its comeback appeal. And I think it hurt the fact that, hey, this was a novelty. This was just like Fox News. Fox News covers content from a right-of-center perspective often. No one else is doing that. And now here's a show that started out like that, the reboot, and now it's just another show. So I thought that was interesting. And then they're talking to I forget the name, that the head woman at ABC. They asked her, well, do you think that her personal politics will impact things? And she kind of said, yeah. Or she kind of was wary of it.
Yeah.
And also said, well, next year it's going to be more like, family and this and that, not so much the political. So what did Roseanne say? Oh, heck no. It's getting political again. Which I thought was fascinating. That she's spinning it this way, Roseanne's spinning it that way. And I sort of trust Roseanne in this because it is her show.
It is her show, right?
She's the force behind it.
Right.
She wants something to happen on that show. It's going to happen.
Master of the obvious here, but without Roseanne, there's not a Roseanne, right?
It's just two quotation marks with nothing in between.
Nothing in between, right.
So what do you think about that? Do you think that sort of the Trump angle maybe attracted some people, and then when they didn't see it?
Yes, I think there was probably that initial, oh my gosh, we can actually watch something that's, kind of going to be us. And then now it's not so much, it's just Roseanne again.
Yeah, and that's
Been there,
okay.
done that. It's okay. So it was kind of like this tidal wave of interest. And now it's just kind of reached its equilibrium, and it is what it is.
Yeah, and it's unsuccessful. And I actually wrote a piece for The Hill recently about, I'm not a huge fan of these shows getting so political and so on the moment, because I think it's going to age badly. Like when you go watch Roseanne reruns in 5-10 years of the shows now, I don't know if I want to watch Trump stuff. But I think you can also maneuver the stories where it captures some of the essence of what's going on now without getting really specific.
I need to see if I can find the article, and I feel badly I didn't think about this at the time. Someone on some academic journal somewhere wrote a very lengthy piece about Seinfeld. And it was about how, everybody joked about how it was a show about nothing. He's gone back and he's looked and analyzed how it was actually about everything.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes. And he concludes that and I assume Seinfeld's still in syndication. It's still...
It might be on either Hulu or I think it's on Hulu. I'm not 100% sure, but it's got to be somewhere.
Well, his point was if one of the networks or somebody would pick it up and start rerunning it again, maybe not in prime time, but at least he says he thinks the audience would just, like the younger people who've never seen it, that they would just glom onto this thing because it is about everyday life that we go through, and nothing about it is political.
Yeah, really is. Matter of fact, the show made a purposeful, except for one episode where they talk about Schindler's List.
Right.
It didn't talk like current events, didn't talk about current movies.
Exactly.
They kept it very nebulous, which was fascinating and so smart.
Because this guy's gone back and watched everything.
Very cool.
I'll find that article.
Yeah, I want to read that.
Yeah, all right. Let's Eat's coming up next. I think we're talking to berries. Are we talking to strawberries or raspberries or something, I think? All right.
The Michael Brown Show continues after this.